Speaks Talk Radio, where women's words are changing the world.
This is Wendy Dixon from Intuitive Life, and I'd like to welcome Deanna Thomas, holistic therapist, onto my show today. So welcome, Deanna. How are you today?
Hi, Wendy. Thank you. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Yes, really good. Thanks. Really good. Really looking forward to listening to your spiritual experiences and how you got to where you are right now. And first of all, I'd just like to say congratulations for your recent award. So you've now got is it your master's you've got in acupuncture?
No, it's my Bachelor's Science
Oh, your
degree.
bachelor's. Yeah, fabulous achievement. So massive well done for that. First of all, I just would like to ask you what life experiences led you to working on a holistic level, working with spirit. So just tell us a little bit about what brought you to this.
So it's a bit of a combination of things, really. My journey started in my childhood when I had an awareness of the spirit world.
Yes.
Often see spirit people, I would hear them, I would feel them. I was always very intuitive and always very introverted, so I would be aware of other people's emotions and intentions. So it started there, really, but it didn't really start to gain momentum until I hit my teenage years. And I took a real interest in tarot, and my mum bought me my first tarot deck, and I just absolutely loved being able to work with the cards and to offer guidance to people.
Yes.
And then I didn't come into the holistic side of things until I was a lot later. So I went through a part of my life where my nana, who was very close to me, died.
Yes.
Started visiting me in spirit and started scaring me.
Okay.
And telling me off quite a lot. So that really started to change my journey and influence the spirit world. And then in my early 20s, I suffered a really bad depression. I had a bit of a breakdown, and I decided that I just couldn't go on doing things that I was doing. Something had to change.
Yeah.
So it started really on a quest of me trying to find ways that I could heal myself. If I could make me feel better and I could make other people feel better, then it was a bit of a win-win, because I get satisfaction out of helping other people feel better.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I started to train in Reiki and reflexology, and I just loved the whole philosophy. I loved creating that space to really go within and just kind of work through what it is that I was feeling and what was going on in my life.
Yes.
And then I had a bit of a health scare. So I had a bit of a problem with my gallbladder, and I had to have my gallbladder taken out.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And that was a horrendous experience. It was a bit of a trauma in itself, really, going through such an operation. And then
I can imagine.
Never having really an operation an awareness of being so poorly, and I thought I was honestly going to die. So when I came right, that kind of just everything went to pot, because I reevaluated where I was in my life, and I really evaluated, well, actually, life's so short. We get such a short time here.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever's not working, you're not making you happy. There's no room for it.
Yeah. And it sounds like you had two awakenings. So you had that awakening in your 20s when you felt depressed and wasn't sure where you wanted to go with your life. But then it was reinforced again when you had your operation. And it's almost like, come on, girl, sit up and listen and start really looking at what you want to do. And did you feel that the healing helped you a great deal then, Deanna?
Absolutely. I mean, I was on such high medication levels for antidepressants and a whole of medications. I was just existing from day to day.
Yeah.
I needed that change. And now I'm, further along the line, I've not been on medication for years. So it does show you that all these alternative and natural therapies huge place alongside our, modern medicine.
Yes.
And help, and that they help you feel a lot better, and and they help you kind of take that time for you, because we're so busy running from one thing to the next, or perhaps even avoiding things.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess medication has its place, but there is so much now available from an alternative perspective, isn't there? I mean, more and more people are opening up to it, and more people are wanting to heal themselves as you did, and take that journey for their own spiritual self as well. So do you find now that you have a daily spiritual practice?
I do. So I start my morning on a positive note. So I influence my energy, my vibrational energy, but also my mood and my well-being by get up in the morning. I put some really happy music that lifts my energy on.
Yeah.
I put it around my children so that we're in a really good space.
Yeah.
And obviously being a mum, I've got the school run and things to do, but then I'll kind of take a little bit of time for me. I make sure that, I'm eating something that's nourishing my body.
Yes.
I'm hydrating well. I maybe perhaps pull a card or two, or sit with an affirmation in the morning of what energy I want to draw into my day.
Yes. Yeah. And I think affirmations are a great start for your day, aren't they? And, you can even meditate on an affirmation that you may pull, if you pull it from a card or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a fabulous way to start the day. So you also still work with spirit, don't you? And not only through healing, but actually through communicating for people.
Absolutely. Spirit will always have a place in my life.
Yes.
It's been a supporting factor of where I've got to today.
Yeah.
And particularly in the last 3 years. So 3 years ago, I lost my father-in-law to lung cancer, and it took him really quick and very nastily. With illnesses and diseases like that, there's no really kind of warning or time to prepare, and it's literally it's so sad. And that kind of made me reevaluate a little bit again about the spirit world and its life. Because at that point in my journey, I was facilitating spiritual events with other spiritual speakers.
Yeah.
And I was really privileged to be able to witness some incredible communications that were coming out of other mediums.
Yeah.
To people who were sitting in an audience in a room with me. So I knew that the spirit world was there and always around, but it wasn't so in my face, if that makes sense, because when my father died, I was finding that I was going through grief, which is what a lot of people have to go through when we lose a loved one.
Yes, it's absolutely
for love, I think. And I'd have mediums coming to me with messages from him in the spirit world, and having to take them back to my husband. And so I think the spirit world is just always there, and it's always there supporting with its loving energy, but just an incredible part of who we are in the work that we do.
Yes. Yeah. I think very much that spirit is just such a massive part of my journey as well. And, many times it's such a comfort to know that your spirit family and friends are around you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And into spirit, would we? So,
Yeah. Do you feel that your father-in-law has helped to raise your communication as well, to improve it?
Well, I never ever doubted the spirit world, because I see spirit, and I feel it, and I've kind of had situations where things have come through me for other people that I can't explain away, But I think when he passed away, it became very evident very quickly of how close the spirit world were, and how much and how hard they were trying to bring some comfort and some reassurance and a message, that
absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely, and it's an incredible journey, and I think everyone could benefit.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, it's in the right environment. you get a message from your loved one in the spirit world and you know they're okay. It brings you a lot of comfort, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It certainly does. And I think often that spirit will come through just to reassure somebody that something that they did that is, giving them a hard time. So, for example, I've given messages to people who've had to put their parents in care homes because they just needed that specialist care and they felt so guilty about it. And the parent has come through just to reassure them that actually that was the right thing to do. And the relief that you often see on people's faces when they get that kind of message or similar kind of message is unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's power in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. And I feel, I don't know about you, but I feel very privileged to be able to bring that communication through for people as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the work that we do is a blessing in disguise because, our words are so powerful. You never know the value of it.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. So you deal with lots of different modalities, don't you, in your work? So certainly I know that. Talk a little bit about what you did and how it came about. Obviously, you've said about the Reiki coming in because of your own need to heal yourself. Yeah. But what about the other aspects that you work with?
So started just under 20 years ago in coming into reflexology. I went to college and began to study holistic therapies, and I really loved them. And it's really funny because the spirit world was very evident in those days when I was training to be a reflexologist. I would see and experience energy around the person that I was working on in the room. And then I really just, I kind of took a bit of a step back, if I'm honest, because my life kind of fell apart, when I was suffering with poor health, and I came through a really bad relationship, came out of a relationship that I'd been in for a long time. And I think that was a lot of my unhappiness as well, being stuck in it wasn't, doing me any happiness. And then I met my husband. So my life completely shifted. I came out of all of my spiritual, work and all of my healing and holistic therapies.
Yeah.
I kind of just turned my back on it all for a little bit while I sorted my life out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had my, well, she's not little, she's 10 on Sunday, so she's not little anymore, but I had her. And then afterwards, I started to feel that, something's missing in my life.
Yes. Yeah.
And I knew deep down that it was everything that I loved, all the spiritual and holistic things. And I didn't tell my husband about, my experiences. I kind of kept it hidden because I was at the time thinking, this doesn't have any place in my life at the minute. And he found out through somebody else who knew me, who'd said, where have you been? We've not seen you for so long. I bumped into somebody I hadn't seen for years. So he was like, wow, that's amazing. And then it came out that he was quite open to it too. He'd had experiences as a child. So
amazing, yeah.
That was a bit of a sign of, maybe that's okay for it to come back into my life in some shape or form. And then when I was having my son, I started to notice there was a lot more things coming up locally where spiritual circles were meeting and things. So I went to one and I met a lovely lady there, and she was, really nice. She just opened. And I really enjoyed it. So after I had my son, I thought, I'm going to go a little bit more often. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And I did. That's kind of what brought me back into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went to see another medium, and he said to me, you'll be picking, your nana's telling me you'll be picking your guards back up and you'll be giving off again, and you'll be coming back into it. And he was right, I did.
Yeah. And so now that you're back into it again, it feels right, I take it. Yeah. It
does, and it's gone from strength to strength. So my son is coming up 9, so I would say we're probably 9 years. For the past 9 years, I've been really more focused on my spirituality, my holistic work, and where I'm going with things.
Yes.
But that healing journey never really kind of goes away, because whenever we're doing work with other people, we're also healing an aspect of ourselves, aren't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I think there's an awful lot of need for therapies at the minute because of lockdown and all that we've just been through. There's an awful lot of people out there that are needing a different kind of support perhaps to what they've had in the past. And I feel that for me that's where holistic therapies come into their own, because it's something different, isn't it? It's something, I mean, I know for many of them they've been around for thousands of years. I know acupuncture and reflexology has been around for many years, but I think lots of people haven't had that awareness and are becoming more aware. So what do you feel has impacted your life the most in your spiritual journey?
Oh, that's such a tough question. So I think what's impacted me the most, I think I get a lot of satisfaction from working with other people. Like, I loved, to some elements, I got a lot from lockdown because I got that, weren't working in person anymore. We had more time to get things done and ticked off the list, especially when it came to written work and things like that.
Yeah.
But the most joy is just working with people in person and being able to hold that space for them to really process and shift and heal through things that they've got going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Out of all the therapies, which is my favourite? It's a really tough question.
Yeah.
At the minute, acupuncture, because I'm seeing so many incredible results from the work that I'm doing. I'm absolutely loving it. But alongside that, I would say it's all to do with the aura and the energy work that I do as well.
Yeah.
That was quite a big focus for me last year as I was completing my studies. But this year, I equally just as much love that as the acupuncture, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So do you find that you're specialising in areas in acupuncture? I tend to find that the right people always find you, don't they? So are you finding that a particular clientele are reaching out to you?
So I think at the minute I'm more women-led, and I think that's my own influence in there. So more of a women clinic. But I'm getting quite a range of people and I think it's really important as a practitioner that it doesn't matter whether you're going for acupuncture or hypnotherapy or what have you, that you've got a connection with the person that you're working with, that you feel comfortable with them.
Yes.
And for me, that's the value in the work that I do. I want the right clientele that come and that, are happy to be here and are comfortable to open and relax and get the benefit from whatever treatments they're having. But I think I'm going to specialise going forward. Like emotional work is a big one for me because I've anxiety for years.
Yeah.
So being able to offer something that helps me, that can help other people's a driving force in my work.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes through other modalities that come into my work. So things like essential oils and acupuncture and mindfulness and meditation, all those sorts of things are really beneficial.
Yeah.
But I think pain is a big thing at the moment, that people are in so much pain and they're not getting seen and they're not getting the right treatments from the doctors, because of the world that we're in at the minute and everything going on. Everything's so limited and restricted.
Yeah. So are you finding that's emotional pain or physical pain?
Well, that's an interesting question because they both are very much linked. So how we feel inside affects how we function on the outside, doesn't it? So what I'm finding is that people might come in with a bad back, but actually there might be an emotional reason that they're holding in their body in that space of what's really causing that bad back. And it might be that they've not got enough, support, or they're doing too much. There's a whole host of, emotional causes that go into physical things.
Yeah.
But there's a root, isn't there? And that's what I love about alternative and complementary medicine, is that it treats a person as a whole, looking at the root of the problem and trying to address that rather than just sticking a Band-Aid on it. If we can go to the shop, we can take some, paracetamol, but that doesn't treat why we're in pain, does it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So how does acupuncture help with both physical and emotional pain?
So what it does, acupuncture is amazing. So it works on an energetic level. It works in the body to move the energy around, especially from a traditional medicine perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got pain, Say, for example, somebody came in with a pain in their arm or a painful elbow or shoulder, then the energy is not moving around freely. It's blocked. It could be that there's a blockage on, not just the energy, but maybe the blood, the tissues, or what have you. So acupuncture is really good for being able to promote the energy to move freely, to clear the blockages and nourish and move the blood.
Yeah.
But also from an emotional level, it facilitates that space for somebody to relax.
Yeah.
It helps the endorphins flow, so it's like a natural pain relieving painkiller in itself.
Yeah.
But also I think it helps people really process why it is that they're feeling that way, or what it is that's the underlying cause. And that can be having a consultation, having a discussion with somebody about what's going on in their life, and holding space for them to, to get things off their chest. Because so often, like if we go and see a lot of medical professionals, we're in and out, we're rushed, we don't have space.
Yeah. And I think that certainly at this time, a lot of people are struggling with it. They've had to keep everything inside, haven't they? Verbally, especially where people have been in isolation. That in some ways, I feel personally that, some people have forgotten how to talk, to how to express themselves, how to reach out to other people. And I feel that, this is one method, holding that space for people, of allowing them to allow that communication to flow once more.
Absolutely. It's an honour and it's an absolute privilege to be able to work with people in that way, because it's a powerful healing process, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I know that you've been involved in a few collaborative books lately as well, haven't you? Because I have as well.
Yeah.
And how's that been?
That's been amazing. So I've co-written 3 books. So we had the Unchained Goddess, which was out earlier on in the year, which was all about self-worth, and that was a beautiful book. So I shared my journey about, I've not always had that self-worth, that belief in myself. It's only really in the last 3 to 5 years that I've really thought, what, we get one shot at life. We've just got to focus on the things we want and things that make us happy, and not worry so much about what other people, what their thoughts and feelings are or influences. So that was a really lovely book to write. And I wrote in there about my, I've got health conditions that affect my weight and my metabolism. Again, it's all part and parcel of this healing journey that we're on.
Yes.
So I wrote about that, about really being impacted with my self-esteem through my own weight and, the challenges to overcome with that. So that was a beautiful book to write.
Yes.
And then the next book that's just about to come out on the 1st of December, it's called Motherhood Goddess.
Yes.
And beautiful book. It's about my journey into motherhood. And what I really felt the need to share was a message around, all children are different, aren't they? We're all different as people.
Indeed, yeah.
In my own journey, my youngest child, he's on the pathway of autism, and I've got 3 children, and I've had a lot going on work and study-wise around that too. But I wanted to share a message of how, our children they're all precious, they're all unique. Why are we defining them? Why are we putting them against each other and comparing? Because that just isn't the reality of who we are, is it, really?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I wanted to share some positive energy around that, and just really lift other mums up who really might be, feeling impacted by it or feeling weighed down of being on the same pathway. So that is what my chapter is about, that's coming out in December. And then there's another book that's going to be launched in January, which I know you're also a collaborator on. And that's really exciting, because that's about having a spiritual business and being able to, the challenges that come with it, and sharing some top tips. And I know that there's some incredible other authors involved in that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's an amazing book, and I think that the spiritual journey that we take when we decide to go into business, it's like any business, it takes a lot of work to get it up and running, doesn't it? And to maintain the status quo, to give the best to your clients, really. And I guess to kind of make sure that we all keep our own skills up to date as well. There's so much to it, isn't there, when we're working with individuals. And like you, I love working with people. It's just an amazing thing to do. And we're so fortunate that we have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Do you think any of your children have got that spiritual link as well?
Absolutely. My youngest son, who we've just been talking about being on the autism pathway, he is really open to it. He sees and feels everything, but the communication has been a big barrier for him. So has been able to see it, but I know that he's very intuitive, he's very introverted, and he's very open to it all.
Yeah. And do you know if he sees spirit?
He does, yes.
Yeah.
He does.
So perhaps does he find that he can talk to spirit where he can't talk to people sometimes?
I must say, I would think so, yes. It feels like that's quite evident,
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I know he's probably got a difficult journey, and as of you with the autism, but hopefully you'll find the right people to help and support with that. And I'm sure lots of your own skills will go towards it as well.
Absolutely. And into play. So it's really, it's really it's improving.
Yeah.
But I totally resonate with other mums and the challenges that come with being on that pathway.
Yeah.
And the struggle that a lot of them face to get that support and help in place. It's not an easy journey at all.
No. So I know that you've recently moved into a new centre for your business. And how's that going?
It's going lovely. It's a lovely space to work in. It's full of really nice calm and healing vibes, which is great.
Oh, wonderful.
It is, and it's in my hometown in Thornaby as well, where I live at the moment. So that's really nice.
Yeah,
it's lovely to be on my doorstep and not have miles to travel for work. I'm really grateful for that. But I really like it. I don't know what's around the corner quite yet. I'm just in this phase of really just exploring, where things are going in with the acupuncture side of it and how I can light. And that's really where I'm at the minute, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, and I think for all of us, it's so important to keep our options open and have that awareness that opportunities quite often present themselves when we least expect them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's about, I think for me, keeping our eyes open to make sure actually, this feels right, and knowing intuitively when to kind of move something forward.
Yes. Absolutely.
Brilliant. So it's been amazing to talk to you today, Deanna. I've really enjoyed our chat. And where can people contact you?
So you can contact me by, I'm on Facebook, and my business is called Deanna Thomas Acupuncture and Wellbeing. I also have a website, and my website is www.deannathomastherapies.com.
Wonderful. Any others?
No, I mean, if you need, I can give you my email. It's info@deannathomastherapies.co.uk.
That's wonderful. I thought I interrupted you a little bit earlier before you'd finished just then. That's why I asked if there was anything more. But I'd just like to say a very big thank you, Deanna, for coming to chat with us today. It's been amazing to talk to you as always. And hopefully we'll have lots of listeners contacting you, and we will chat again soon. So for now, I'd like to say thank you to our listeners. This is Wendy Dixon from Intuitive Life, and you can contact me on www.wendydixon.co.uk. Thank you.